It can't be. That can't be what we're doing. This is it. This is what we're doing.
Right head hit me. Ralph Yarl, 16-year-old kid in Kansas City, upcoming talented musician. One day, he was out picking up his siblings. Things went left quick. He was supposed to get them from 115th Terrace, but Pete, he accidentally went to 115th Street. Instead of saying wrong house and nothing much more, the homeowner fired hit him once through the door. You would think this was the end. Now, while on the ground, stood over him, hit him again. His conscience began to slip, but by the grace of God, found the strength to get up. Now his breathing and slipping. Ran to 3 houses for someone to agree to assist him. Told him hands up on the floor, so heartless. Shooter was released from police, no charges. Man, his whole system backwards, bruh. No, this is not a thug, check his character. Musician, what goes to flourish from all this. Even got letters from the governor's office. Got vision too as a parent. Dreams to go to Texas A&M or chemical engineering. They describe this young man as friendly, quiet, kind soul, well-mannered. Pitiful, just listen. A minor mistake shouldn't leave you in critical condition. So blatant, like seriously, how is this a mistaken identity? So many questions come to me. Man, justice for Ralph Yarl. Prayers for his recovery. This story right here hit me.
Man. Shit. What are we doing? This is a young man. You all have seen this story. Young Ralph Yarl. He went to go pick up his siblings. And that's what happened. He went to the wrong door. In Kansas City, Missouri, some artist that was Cash Flow, by the way. Let's go back and give him his credit for that. Let me make sure y'all see Cash Flow Harlem. He also has a YouTube channel. Appreciate your artistry, young man. And yeah, so young, he's killed. Not killed. He was not killed. He was shot for going to the wrong house. Another artist has given his artistic rendition of the whole thing. He was supposed to pick up his siblings and he went to the wrong house. You see, he accidentally went to the terrace. He was supposed to go to terrace, 115 terrace. He went to 115th Street instead. And that's when he rang the doorbell. The homeowner, who didn't want Ralph on his property, responded by shooting him in the head. And yeah, this is going to tell the story. Apparently, some civil rights lawyers are taking, and it says unidentified white male. Later on in the broadcast, we do have a picture of him. It was released actually today. And he was taken down to the police headquarters and then subsequently released. This is a young guy, young man, Ralph. He was in the band, played instruments, of course. He was a great student, and just from what it seemed, just an all-around great person. And this is sad. I saw this yesterday and I felt sad. And I knew what the reaction would be. It would be fear and anger and a lot of hate, rightly so. And I wanted us to just stop and talk about it for a second. Let's really look past some of the emotional parts of it and see if we can really look at the situation, peel back some layers on the situation with Ralph, and even look at, I mean, this is Ralph in the hospital here. I think there's an up close picture. I didn't. Yeah, that we don't want to dwell on that for too long. Imagine, and actually, the good news is he is recovered. But we're gonna go over that in just a little bit. I don't really want to look at that picture. I have 3 sons, and you all know, and this is hard. And even as a physician, it's tough to see. We have to pray for this young man. Pray for Ralph. He actually has recovered, and the news has said he's home now. And we just hope and pray that his injuries are not, they don't disable him. He's not disabled for life. He can still be as functional as possible without any permanent damage to his body. Imagine you're a dutiful son, you're being obedient to your parents, and then you end up being shot for being dutiful, doing what your parents asked you to do. Go pick up your younger brothers. Looks like he's from a nice family. I believe that they have some Liberian heritage. He's picking up his younger siblings, and he goes to get them, goes to the wrong house, and bam. Is that what we're doing now? Because of fear, this man, and he has been identified. Let me just show you him. Now because of fear, Andrew Lester feels that he is dealing with a criminal, some young black man coming up to his home late at night. Obviously, he's coming there to harm him and his wife. And bam, he pops off. We have become so reactive in the way that we deal with each other. There's no pause. And then I don't know, what would I do in this situation? I don't have a gun, so I'm not gonna pop off firing anybody. But I think he's 84 years old. He sees a young black man. He sits, I'm sure he plays a lot of time on television, just watching the news, hearing all these horrible things about black people, conditioning himself to think that every black person is dangerous, and building up this fear of black people in his heart, that when a young black person comes to his door, the first thing in his mind he could think, I'm in danger, I must shoot. Is fear the same thing as hate? You all let me know in the comment section below. While you're here, please like the video and subscribe. Turn on notifications, and of course, like the video. Okay. Is fear the same as hate? Did this man hate Ralph? Did he hate Ralph? Did Andrew Lester hate Ralph? He doesn't even know him. No, he didn't hate him. He was afraid of him. And now his life is in jeopardy. You cannot act out of fear. When you act out of fear, it causes you to make horrible decisions. Fear. And then, there's the prejudice that is involved in all of that. There is a prejudgment that you develop in your mind. All of us, we're looking at Andrew, and I've seen, we can look in the comment section. There's a lot of prejudice about just the man that shot Ralph. I'm trying to see if we can, it won't pull up. I can't pull up the comments right now. But there's prejudging. You look and you say, oh yeah, that I've seen some comments on how the man looks, on what his skin looks like, and all these different things. You don't know him. You cannot, two wrongs do not make a right. This is wrong for this man to just pop off out of fear, pop out of this reactive. It was wrong for him to do that, and injure this child for, we don't even know how long. And we cannot rectify that with the same thing, with judgment, just looking at him and make an assumption that he must be racist. We don't know. Of course, we know the civil rights lawyers have been involved from what I can see. And we don't know if this is a civil rights thing. We don't. And I would love for us to really look at things as in a broad perspective as possible. Let us not be too reactive, because it's the same thing. Then we end up committing the same type of injuries and crimes to other people when we prejudge, when we act out of fear and anger and hate. And one of the things that has happened here, I'm going to pull up a post that is not related to this in any way, but it just shows how when you act out of emotions, the things that people can do. You all are gonna, this is gonna be so shocking and so startling to you all. Let me pull this here. This is awful. These are some young men and young women in Chicago that are beating this woman up to a pulp. One woman in Chicago. You also remember this weekend how you got a lot of kids took over the streets of Chicago. I'm not sure what the reasoning was behind it, but these kids were acting out of anger. Anger about what? I don't know. What has gotten them riled up? It's as if everybody is just on edge right now. Just FOMA. Is that what it's? Out. FOMAM. FA. Whatever. Y'all know. F around and find out. Everybody is right there on edge, ready to pop off. What is going to happen? When do we start treating each other like human beings? Only God can save us. We've been trained to act like this. We've been trained to act emotionally. The news media, everyone, they keep putting these things out and training us to just act emotionally, to just be reactive without really being able to think some of these things through before we respond. We do want justice for Ralph. Justice needs to be served, and we will let the justice system do its job. We don't know all the details, and we're going to let them investigate, and whatever they decide, we go with it. We have to trust that this is a fair system, that with people watching, because we've got checks and balances, with people watching, that young Ralph will have a fear that justice will be served. You know what? When I see this, there's a verse in the Bible that it talks about these refuge cities where if you killed somebody by accident, or if you meant to kill somebody, you could run to these refuge cities that they call them, where you can escape the avenger of death. Because that's exactly what happens when somebody gets hurt like this. People are mad. Emotions are up, and people want, I want revenge right now. That's what's happening. And in the Bible, they had these refuge cities where you go and you can stay safe until, all the evidence was gathered and you can be brought back to trial. This is where we are right now with Andrew Lester, the man that shot young Ralph. We're at the point where he is in the city of refuge because the avengers of death were not able to get him before he got to the police, where he's now safe. And we're going to gather the evidence and see what happens. Let the trial occur. Listen. There's a Bible verse that says, there's a way that seems right to a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. And your emotions and your feelings, if we all are acting solely on emotions and feelings, we're going to get in trouble. Our emotions and feelings cannot be trusted. God's word can be trusted. And if we all really start behaving on principle and stop being reactive, stop reacting in fear and in anger and in hate, because the problem is everybody, we all hate people for different reasons. You've been there, like, she thinks she's all that, he ain't blank. We've all done that. And that is the same sort of immediate reaction where we just see somebody, we don't know them from Jack, and we're trying to decide that who they are as a person. Let's start loving. We need God. Jesus, come and fix this situation now. And God has already worked a miracle. Thank God. Ralph, Yarl, he is good. He's at home. He's recovering. Continue to pray for him that his recovery is persistent. He can even get back to normal. God is still in the miracle working business. I appreciate you all for dropping by. That's my word on Ralph Yarl's situation. Let's continue to pray about the situation, and let's not respond emotionally. Let's not respond in fear, with anger, with hate, because that cannot win in any situation. Love is the only thing that can win. And even if you have to love the people that hate you, everybody can love the people that love them. If you really want life, you have to love the people that hate you.